Hello, boys and girls. This is Todd again. I'm just here and I'm gonna tell you about my day a little bit. I'm not sure how much you care, but hey, it's my channel. I can talk about what I want. Okay, so first of all, I had to go to work this morning. I work in a computer lab helping people with stuff. It's the kind of people who don't know what the start button is, or you say, okay, why don't you try opening Firefox now? And they're like, Firefox? Is that like some kind of animal? Seriously, this one time I was working there and this girl came in. She's like, I need you to help me to find out whether or not my ballet class is full. And so I'm like, okay, we can do that. Just go log into your account on the university website and we can go looking at classes. She's like, and I'm like, what's the problem? And she says, well, how do you open the internet? So I click the icon for her, and I'm like, okay. So here we are, we're at the login screen, and I'm like, put in your information. She's like, I don't remember what it is. Yeah, that was a disaster. These are the kind of people I work with every day. The most common question I get is, how do I print? Even though it's pretty straightforward, you press the print button, and then you go to the printer, and that's basically it. My job is really fun, if you can imagine. So after work, went to class. I went to a class. I skipped my history class because I was really tired and I had to open this morning, so I just slept through it. Don't tell anyone. And after that, it was my Japanese class. It was like super exciting. I was still really groggy though, so some kind of funny things happened. I won't tell you them in detail because you'd probably get bored, but if you'd been there, you would have been laughing. So I'm going to school in Provo, Utah. Utah's a weird place. It kind of makes no sense at all when you compare it to the rest of the world. But the most frustrating thing about it is that it's impossible to meet anybody, especially like college-aged people. Because what do college-aged people do for fun usually? They get drunk, get high, go to like a cafe or something. But it's Provo, Utah, and everybody's a Mormon, so you can't get drunk, you can't get high. There's just nothing fun to do, basically. All the kids just sit around in their apartments and stare at each other. Just like that. So, you can imagine, weekends are pretty rough. Maybe I just need to meet more interesting people. Anyways, so recently I've been thinking about movies. Movies are cool, and seeing as how I've been thinking about movies, I'm gonna rant at you about movies. So, the other night I was hanging out with my friends, staring at each other, and we were like, "Hey, wouldn't it be a lot better if we could stare at the TV instead of at each other?" And we were like, "I guess, sure." So we put in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's just like a defining moment of our generation, really. That movie is the most epic thing I've ever seen. Except How to Train Your Dragon, but we'll get to that later. Scott Pilgrim, yes. So basically, Scott Pilgrim is just what it's like if every gamer's wild fantasy came true. It's like they took the essence of nerd and they combined it all into one beautiful little movie that makes you happy and smiley. And I know there are going to be people out there who's like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's never even read the comic books. It's true, I haven't read the comic books, sue me. But the movie by itself was amazing, delicious. Love it. Gets a heart. Heart. Oh yeah, I said I was going to talk about How to Train Your Dragon, and so I'm going to do that now. It's like opening up a man's brain. Drink? Looking inside and being like, oh yeah, let's make a movie out of this stuff that's in there. That's why it's so great, is because it's just like every man's fantasy come true. Well, I know there's going to be some guy out there who's like, I don't like dragons, I don't like fantasy, that's so stupid, oh my gosh. But in reality, every guy wants to fly on a dragon, and every man wants to have a hammer-flinging chick as a girlfriend. So yeah. I also really like the movie Coraline. I don't really have much to say about that right now. I just think it's super awesome. Very good feel. I just realized that all of my favorite movies are movies based off from books. Interesting. Interesting. Oh yeah, and so for the last thing I'm gonna rant about today, I was watching this commercial last night for it's the new Kindle commercial. It's just out, especially for the holidays. Kindle, so cool. This got this little boy, and he's talking to his grandma, and he's like, "Grandma, I want a book about this, and a book about airplanes, and a book about Egypt, and a book about the clouds, and a book about that." His grandma's like, "Oh my gosh, that's a lot of books." And then she's like, "Oh, I'm smart. I'll get him a Kindle." So the grandma gets him a Kindle, and the little boy is so happy, and he's going, and he's sitting, and he's reading it, and he's like, "Yeah, it's so good, yeah." And as his grandma comes over, he's like, "What are you reading there, Sonny?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm reading about the sky, and about clouds, about airplanes, and about Egypt, and magic zombies." And at that point, me and my friend just started staring at each other. Magic zombies? Because, everybody's familiar with, like, regular zombies. They just kind of shamble around and, like, "I'm gonna eat your brain." But, like, magic zombies, can you imagine, like, a sorcerer zombie, or maybe a mage zombie, or a zombie that could summon other zombies? Like, this was getting intense. This is scary stuff this little kid's reading about. I'm not sure the grandma should have gotten him that Kindle. So what would you do if you were caught in an attack with a bunch of magic zombies? I don't know what I would do. I might have to get a shotgun with magic bullets or something. I don't think anything else would stop them. No, that's just some food for thought. Also, I got a haircut. See, meh, haircut, meh.